This podcast is brought to you by ArtSpire, presented by the Pump House Regional Arts Center to attract, engage, and connect artists and the community through an art fair and sale on Saturday, June 12th. Information is at artspire.thepumphouse.org. Chase Gentry is an artist. From comical to scary, his influences and style vary from piece to piece. We chat about the creative process, expectations of the viewer, COVID and creativity, and what's coming up for this local artist. You can find more conversations on our website, lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is Lacrosse Local.
My name is Chase William Gentry. I am a born and raised local La Crosse, Wisconsin native. Pretty much got into art at like an early age. Started as early as I can remember, kindergarten and all that stuff. And it kind of stemmed through like doodling a lot on like homework tests and all that junk. And I would get actually in trouble for it. And it wasn't until around like high school or so that I started to realize like there was actually something there. There was potential. And my art teacher at the time, Logan High School, Mr. Beck, he really pushed me to show myself like I could actually go somewhere with this, and that really helped a lot. And it was around like junior year of high school is when I kind of started selling my work and taking it a little bit more seriously, and kind of just started from there.
Seen your work online. I've just been, following it on Instagram. I believe I've seen it at a few locations around town where we actually went places. It's everything from, comedic, sometimes scary. In some ways, some of the things I see from it, you could say this completely off, but, I see things like Shel Silverstein in that, almost Rob Zombie in some ways, and also like dating my age, MTV's Liquid Television. I don't know if you ever remember those shows where it's just interesting, kind of weird, just kind of cool cartoons. What are some of your influences?
Yeah, definitely cartoons is the biggest one for sure. It's interesting you said Rob Zombie too, because definitely he's up there with an influence, but the big one I would say was Adventure Time. It's like a show on Cartoon Network. Pendleton Ward, I got into that really early on and took a lot of that and ran with it, and basically whatever would make me laugh would kind of implement that into my work. And I just love like the comedic style, and somewhat it dives into like comedy and almost realism a little bit too, with some of their like morals and all that stuff, and just kind of did that. And it would also be like Flapjack, a lot of Cartoon Network shows, and Adult Swim. Tim and Eric is another one. A lot of that stuff I grew up with, watching super late at night when I wasn't supposed to be up, and like I was just drawing while I was watching that. Definitely Adventure Time though. That's definitely where and then also Instagram too. Yeah. When I started Instagram, I noticed the way I would draw, I wasn't alone in it. I thought I was the only one. I was locked up in this lacrosse like box of what I'd see as artists. And when I jumped on Instagram, I'd see other artists with similar styles. I was like, oh wait, I could actually have a future with something like this. Because for a while people were like, well, it's good artwork, but I don't know if I'd ever hang it up in my house and stuff like that. But it wasn't until I opened up and saw like a broader, like a huge like market for it, music festivals and stuff like that.
How do you go about creating it? You do have some themes that run through it, and then you almost have, some sort of architecture sort of components with buildings, but there seems to be reoccurring characters, themes. Like it almost seems, storyboarded in some ways with different stories for each sort of characters. How do you go about creating work? That's
super interesting you say that, because it's different a lot of the times. So let's say it's not a commission and I'm just sitting down and I'm going to draw something, whether that's digital or not. It's almost as simple as putting the pen to the paper, as simple as that sounds. And I get into this meditative state where I'm not really thinking about anything and I'm not planning it out as I go. There's no predetermined path or expectation for the end of the piece usually. And in simplest form, it's just doodling. I've kind of memorized patterns growing up from doodling, stuff that I've liked, and I just kind of combined it all together until it either makes me laugh or I think it looks cool. And then that's pretty much where it comes from. It's interesting too, because everybody sees something different in it, and it's never something that I intended. And that's what I love about it, that randomness. But some people can see a story in it, which I have never even intended. And then I just kind of also go with that. Like, yeah, you're right. It's different each time. It's weird.
You kind of referenced there what the viewers get out of it, but you also referenced like laughter. Do you have any ideas what you expect viewers to get from your work?
Yeah. So a goal of mine over the years, I've kind of developed like artist statements and stuff of what I want people to get from it. And it would be like the importance of the imagination, and I want people to see like something different each time they look in it. And hopefully it unlocks a piece of themselves, a piece of their brain, just something random that they've never seen before. Hopefully it like lets people think creatively. And a lot of reasons why a lot of my work is black and white too. Some of it is because I wanted the viewers to decide for themselves. I want people to think for themselves what the colors are or what it means to them. It's technically abstract, so it's all different. But I really want to stress the importance of imagination and thinking for yourself.
I'm just kind of scrolling through your work, and some of it almost seems like it's all great. It's almost like there's different artists with each piece. There's some things that are very intricate to things that are, almost not in no way negative, but saying like this blobby sort of character that's really kind of looks like it's painted pretty quickly. How is COVID, and maybe even you referenced Instagram, have you changed your style or the way you kind of present your work now since COVID started in terms of, I don't know if you've had many shows or has your output increased or...
Well, COVID obviously had delays on everybody, including myself. So, there hasn't been many art shows, or I haven't been able to, I haven't been able to go to the store to get art supplies as often as I would with before COVID. So I kind of switched over to digital at the moment, just because I find myself at home for the most part. So having an iPad right in front of me, or if I don't have the right supplies, like I have unlimited supplies on the iPad. The style switches a lot, and I try to not box myself in. Even before COVID, I would always switch it up, and I try to be consistent with the change of my pieces. And otherwise, I feel like if I stayed in one style, I just get bored. Honestly, I want to switch it up for myself, try to see what I can do and what I can't do. I'll try to dive into realism a little bit and just kind of mix that in with some of my more abstract doodly stuff. Overall time just kind of combined all those like skills. I'm still in the middle of it, of learning, so I'm trying to learn all the mediums that I can.
Yeah, and talking about mediums, you're drawing on shoes to pants to doors. It definitely, even with the work that you're doing now and all these different sort of formats, it doesn't look like you're messing around. It looks like you know exactly what you're doing with the process, if that's intentional or not. You're also a curator and artist at the Collective Cooperative. So can you explain that a little bit and how that program is coming along?
Yeah. So again, the COVID delayed a lot of things, including the Collective. So as of right now, there's not much information that I should say, because it's still, I know we have a meeting coming up here. As of right now, I know that construction is still underway with the gallery space and stuff. But in the meantime, myself, I'm just building up my portfolio just to have enough to show once I get there. And we're in a group chat together, so we're kind of discussing like possible collaborations and in the future of where we could take that. But unfortunately, COVID really put a hinder on a lot of that stuff. It's slow and steady, but it's still on the right path to being like a full end project here.
So what's coming up for you in 2021, 2022? Are you excited about anything or?
Yeah, I mean, the gallery is the big thing. We're kind of, it's like I said, slow and steady. So, and that's kind of my main focus. Other than that, like I just came out with the coloring book, and that was a big step cross off the bucket list, and I'm super proud of that. Thanks to Ope Publishing. They're another local company around here. They really helped me a lot. I have like some new stickers. It's small stuff, like stickers coming out, some new prints, and just kind of playing around with like new ideas, seeing what's available, signing up for murals, all that stuff. But my main focus, definitely the Collective and trying to build that together.
So if people want to find out more, maybe pick up that book or just follow along on your journey here, what's the best avenue for them to go to?
You can check me out at cwgartwork.com. There you'll find like the coloring book should be there right there, featured product, along with like a full gallery and a little tiny blog thing that I like to write every once in a while. Otherwise, Instagram at Gentry54. And obviously there I post all of my work, including the pieces that I don't really enjoy. I post it all. Then the coloring book you could also find locally in La Crosse, Wisconsin at Pearl Street Books, and River City Gallery too is another place downtown that I have a lot of my work at. You can see some pieces that I'm super excited that I haven't really shown to the public, including the big door that I painted on. So that's on display there. So you can check that out.
La Crosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you'd like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at La Crosse Local. Find out more about us at lacrosselocal.com, and you can subscribe to the La Crosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We appreciate it.